It is the 22nd of June 1942. High above the Pacific, the sun glints off a mountain of moving steel as the strike group maintains flank speed, heading south toward a world that has no place for a ship this massive. The USS Gerald R. Ford cuts through the swells with an indifferent power, its wake carving a path toward the southern Atlantic. On the bridge, the technical reality of 1942 begins to close in. The Panama Canal is a bottleneck from an inferior age. It's lost too narrow by 30 feet to accommodate the future.
Admiral, we've reached the limits of the Panama Canal's current infrastructure. Even with our engineering, we can't get the Ford through those locks in 1942. They're too narrow by 30 feet.
We aren't wasting time digging a hole, Reed. We go around the hole.
Sir, the southern Atlantic is a graveyard, and with our limited satellite uplink, we are relying on 1940s weather patterns. There's a massive storm front building off Cape Horn.
The ship can handle the weather. I'm more concerned with what's waiting in the dark.
Night falls over the South Atlantic as the weather turns into a violent, churning nightmare. Massive, 40-foot walls of grey water slam into the Ford's hull with a deep, metallic groan that vibrates through the ship's skeleton. The modern destroyers, the Halsey and the Spruance, pitch violently, their bows vanishing into the white foam of the Southern Ocean. Deep beneath the surface, inside the cramped, red-lit belly of the U-505, a German crew sits in a sweat-drenched silence, their captain pressed against a periscope, staring at a shadow that shouldn't exist.
Yeah, a shadow. It is as big as a city. No lights, no sound. It moves faster than a destroyer, even in this sea.
Hey, Captain, the sound. It is not like a steam engine. It is a hum, like a hive of bees.
For the Führer, tubes 1 through 4, fire.
Inside the Ford's Combat Direction Center, the chaos of the storm is replaced by a digital, blue-lit calm. Tech officers track the movement of the world with clinical detachment, watching as 1940s steam torpedoes crawl through the water toward them like relics of a forgotten era. Burke doesn't even lift his gaze from his command chair as the ship's automated defenses prepare to erase the threat.
Vampire, or rather, torpedoes in the water. 4 signatures, bearing 190. They're slow, Admiral. 1940 steam torpedoes.
Don't waste a missile. Deploy the Nixie decoys and let the Spruance handle it.
The German torpedoes are effortlessly tricked by acoustic decoys, veering away into the black abyss to detonate harmlessly against the empty ocean. The Spruance breaks formation, its sonar already mapping the U-boat's grave before the first rocket-boosted depth charge ever leaves the deck. A massive underwater concussion follows. A plume of black oil and debris is all that remains of the U-505.
RU-5 Asterix launched.
In the guest quarters, the 2 keys of the mission, an American sailor and a Japanese pilot, sit in the presence of the future. They are surrounded by smooth walls and impossible lights, guarded by SEALs who look like armored phantoms from a fever dream. Burke enters, carrying the plastic-wrapped rations of 2026, his presence bridging the gap between 2 centuries.
We'll be in London in 48 hours.
What is this stuff? The walls, the lights. It doesn't feel like a ship. It feels like a hospital for ghosts.
You killed my admiral. Why do you keep us?
Transition to what?
To a world where men like Hitler and Tojo are footnotes, Jack.
At dawn, the storm yields to a pale, cold morning light as the white cliffs of Dover rise from the horizon. The air is suddenly filled with the wail of 1,000 sirens as the British coast realizes that a god of iron has arrived at its doorstep. Thousands watch from the cliffs, their mouths agape as the 1,100-foot nuclear carrier glides toward the Thames, its deck bristling with F-35s like a display of predatory birds.
Set the watch. We are entering London. Let's show the British Empire that their time has passed.